Hi, I'm Michael Lake, and I'm here to talk to you about my new album, Roads Less Traveled. I've put this together with my good friend Jerry Pagano. Jerry is the bass trombonist in the St. Louis Symphony. He was my old college roommate at ASU. And this album really came about because Jerry reached out to me one day, and he was looking at my demo site where I'd put some of my music, and he said, I think it's great, but you need a bass trombone. And he was right, because I was putting this stuff together where it needed a bass trombone. I was synthesizing it, I was using samples of bass trombone. I was doing some things that definitely didn't sound like a world-class bass trombonist. So one thing led to another, and I wrote the music that you see on this album. Some of it was done prior, but most of it was done for this. I flew Jerry out here and we put this together. The name of the album is Roads Less Traveled, and there's some significance to that in a lot of ways. One of I guess the main reason is because I play this. This is an alto trombone. Now, when you hear people say they play trombone, they're pretty much talking about playing tenor trombone, or in Jerry's case, bass trombone. But very few people, I'm not sure I know anybody that plays alto trombone full-time, playing jazz and Latin and pop. And since college, that's all I've played is alto trombone. I'm not really sure I could play tenor very well at the moment. So what you're hearing on the album are arrangements of where trombone has been voiced 3, 4, 5 times by me overdubbing myself and then putting Jerry on the bottom of all of it. And I think it came out great. Jerry and I think we've created something pretty unique. You know, I think going back to the Roads Less Traveled theme, one of the roads that are less traveled is the type of arrangements that are on this album. When most people think of jazz, they think of a rhythm section, drums, piano, bass, and they think of a horn player or two, and most of the tunes are standard jazz forms. There's a melody, and then we play solos, and then maybe trade fours with the drummers, then we play the melody out, and then maybe an ending. And I play a lot of that, and I love that form, but I wanted this album to be different. So you're not going to hear a traditional rhythm section on this. You're going to hear some walking bass, you're going to hear a lot of synthesizer, you're going to hear a lot of percussion, and because of my studio, and I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of really cool equipment, you're going to hear a lot of electronic effects, some of which have been applied to the alto trombone, some on their own just to accent the style of music. One of the tunes I had fun putting together was what's called on the album the Ecuadorian two-step. And this originally came about because I was trying to come up with an arrangement for Claire Fischer's Pensativa. I love that tune. And I got through the first 8 bars. That's kind of a vamp, even though I used chord changes that Claire Fischer ended up not really liking, and a lot of people like Freddie Hubbard used them, so I figured I was in good company to put these together. And I really liked what I had, and then I thought about the daunting task of doing this for 5 trombones for the entire tune. And so I came up with this as a self-contained unit. I knew it wouldn't last very long, and originally I just had it fade in, play, fade out. And then I was playing with the intro one day, and I had an idea to make this sound like you have 5 trombones that are on stage and they're just trying to figure out what to play, and one's playing this note and the other's playing this note, but eventually they come together, they get it together, the percussion starts, and then there's a trombone playing a solo over the whole thing. I guess he's inspired by all the trombones underneath him. And I like how it came out. It reminds me of my old days at Creative Music Studio in Woodstock, where I studied for a summer with Anthony Braxton and the Art Ensemble of Chicago. And I think a little of that was brought out in this tune. So I got to say a few things about my friend Jerry. I feel very lucky that he was on my album. You know, and I knew Jerry was a fantastic musician. Like I said, I went to school with him, and I know his playing. I bought his albums, but I wasn't really sure if he was going to adapt to the more jazz-oriented style of this album, especially some of the tunes like Yardbird Suite, where you've got fast rolling eighth notes a la super sax on a bebop tune. And we did that first in the recording session. I did that because I kind of expected to spend most of the day just getting that down, because I thought it was going to be really hard. And as it turned out, he practically did it in one take. And it was at that moment I realized that I had the right guy for this album. So the album is Roads Less Traveled, and you can find it on iTunes, CD Baby. You can go to my site, which is altobone.com. You can also go to Jerry's site, which is jerrypagano.org. And let me know what you think of the album. I'm always interested in what people find their favorite tunes. So let me know that, and enjoy the album. Thanks.